Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Codex Podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Sonny Kruger, and I'm joined by nobody as of right now, but others will be joining us from the Codex Station. So here we are. It's the last episode of the Codex Podcast of the year. So today, when we get to the random panel of the week, it will be the random panels of the year. We'll get to some of the, when it comes to the F list, we will be going over some of the best/worst F listers that joined the list this year. And of course, we got a lot of comic book news that's been going on. There's been a lot of teasers. There's been a lot of teasing lately with all these teaser trailers. There's even one that people aren't so sure. Is it real or not real? We'll get on to that into the actual show, since right now we're on the pre-show. Of course, we'll be having some variant insanity. It'll be the last time of the year. And then, we have them right or wrong. I've got my 5 statements, but whoever joins us, we'll see. Maybe they'll have some statements as well. Dan Kelly should be here soon. Sal the Slab Guy might be joining us, and we'll see if anybody else drops by. So that's what we've got going on for this one. And of course, there'll be a topic of the week. And that topic of the week, since this is the last one of the year, will be highlights of 2025. And now I'll get us started with some of the usual stuff. Get the business out of the way. Us, the Codex Station, we're on all the socials at the Codex Station. So there you go. We're everywhere. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok even. We're on Instagram. Basically, all the big social media stuff, we're on there. And then, of course, if you want to get yourself some merch, you want to meet the team, you can go to www.thecodexstation.com. There's a whole lot more. We even got some stuff on there which leads to other accounts, other friends of the Codex Station, people who have guested before on other shows, even on this show. So make sure to check it out. And if you're on Facebook and you want to join a great group, a group that a lot of us at the Codex Station, a lot of us met each other, you can go to Comic Character of the Day. So facebook.com/Comic Character of the Day. Every day there's new characters on there that are spotlighted. There's new, we have random panel of the week. They have random panel of the day. Every single day there's more going on. So make sure to check that out. And hello, Mr. Keith. Happy Wednesday to you as well. Here we are for the last time of 2025, the Codex Podcast. But of course, once we get to next year, we'll be going back to, week after week, Wednesday after Wednesday, more episodes of the Codex Podcast. And of course, next week is Christmas Eve. And the week after that is New Year's Eve. And also, everyone make sure to check out the Codex Awards this Saturday. We're having mostly everyone from the Codex Station. I'll even be on there this Saturday. We'll be having plenty of awards. We'll be going over, some of the best covers, some of the best cover artists, some of the best artists, some of the best writers. And let me pull that out. I can tell everybody about all the awards that we've got going on. Where is it in the message? Here we go. So the awards that will be going on this Saturday at the Codex Awards will be Biggest Surprise, Cover Artist of the Year, Best Artist of the Year, Best Writer of the Year, Best Current Series, Best Series Read, Best Event of the Year, Top Publisher, Cover of the Year, and the Legacy Award. So we'll see what goes on this Saturday, which will be Comics Unleashed, the Codex Awards, the last episode of any of the shows on the Codex Station of 2025. And in the meantime, before we get to the actual show, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more time to jump on and join us. They're taking a while, but even if they don't join, even if they don't join, we got a lot of news. I'll keep everybody busy. And hey, Mr. Keith, it is a pleasure to be doing this every Wednesday. This is fun for me. I love to jump on Wednesdays. I love to jump on, talk, comic book stuff with everybody, and put on a show, do right or wrong, do the random panels of the week and the F list and everything. I enjoy it. Pretty much most of us at the Codex Station, we do enjoy it. And when it's a Wednesday and I'm not on, it feels weird. It feels like there's something missing from my Wednesday. So it doesn't feel right. So it's truly a pleasure for me to be on the Codex Podcast on the Codex Station. And then, when it does come to the end of the year, then everyone will be we got the holidays coming up. Got a lot of things going on. Me, I'm someone I really enjoy the holidays. I enjoy being with a lot of people, but it's not like that for everybody. Sometimes the holidays can be pretty tough. So this is a good time for me. I want to remind everyone that the Codex Station has a hoodie out. There you go. Nice little hoodie with Codex Station's logo on there. And in the back, you just say your story isn't over. This is just your origin. And hashtag suicide awareness. So please, anybody, if you're having some tough times, reach out. You can even reach out to any of us from the Codex Station. Always the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is 988. So reach out. You matter. Your life matters. So take care of yourselves. And now, but I knew that Variant Insanity will still be the same. It won't be going over everything. It'll be going over this week of what comic book had the most variants. And for the F list and for the random panels of the week, I didn't just want to do one. I said, let me go over everything and go over the year. So, there's been quite a few random panels going on. Obviously, each week after week we pull them out. So I'll try to pull out some of the best ones. Maybe not every single one, but you can always go back. You can always watch old episodes of the Codex Podcast because they're all available on YouTube. And same thing with the F list. I want to get it all. Get some of the best / worst F listers. So we'll feature them later in the show. Mobius, hey, hello. Yeah, you're in London. I am in the U.S. and it's been a long time since I've been to London. Last time I was there was 2008. So maybe I'm due for a return to the country I was born in, England. Croydon, England, but very close to London. And now let me look at some of the things we got going on as I wait for those others to jump on to the show. In the meantime, everybody feel free to put in the comments anything you've got going on. So this is, this whole episode we're going over some of the highlights of 2025. So feel free to put out there some of your highlights, some of the comic books that you've been the most interested in, or shows or movies, anything like that. We love to get comments. We love to hear from all of you, even if you have some favorite episodes from the Codex Station, whether it be episodes of the podcast, or if it's episodes of Unleashed, or episodes of Comic Character of the Week. And, of course, big things ahead of us in 2026. We'll always do even more, bigger, better years. So check it out. And, this is a good time for me to also say that tomorrow there is scheduled to be an episode of Comic Character of the Week. So that should be the last one of the year. So make sure to check it out. And now we've gone over the stuff. And before we jump into the actual show, I will say that I'm always releasing stories. So you can go to www.wattpad.com, and my username is Son of a Writer. That's where I have all kinds of stories on there. From series about a series, to Dead, to Be Alive and Desired, to the comic book, to Once I Was a Superhero, all that stuff. So check it out if you want to have a good read for free. And then my story, Killing Set in Motion, is available to buy on Amazon. It was banned on Wattpad, so I'm no longer able to have you all read it for free. Mr. Keith says, about they just read Absolute Martian Manhunter 1 through 6 and liked it. Nice. I heard that I saw on a list somewhere that was considered one of the top 10 stories of 2025. So it depicts telepathy great, but I'm hoping for more Martian powers. All right, we'll see how that goes. The Absolutes have been pretty good. I've read some of Wonder Woman. I've read some of Batman. So I've been enjoying them, different Elseworld stories, but I'm enjoying them. And then Martian Manhunter has been one of my favorite characters from the Justice League for a very long time. So I think I'm due to read some more Martian Manhunter in the maybe near future. Sometimes time goes by pretty fast, and I think, I'll get to this pretty soon. And then a whole year has passed. For instance, some of the random panels, some of the F-listers, I looked, and I was like, I'll put them on for this year's highlights. And then I saw, no, those were last year. Those were 2 years ago. So unfortunately, I know Uncle Gary would want me to showcase Heavy Flow in this episode when going over the F-listers, but she did not make the list this year. She was put on there a while ago. And now I say it's time that we jump on to the actual show of the Code X podcast for the last time, one more time in 2025. So, hello everyone to the official show of the Codex podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Sonny Cougar, and for so far only the second time in the Codex podcast's history, I'm hosting the show alone. We may be having some of the others join us today. I put the link out, so we'll see what they've got going on. And so the pre-show was just going over what we've got going on, and it was nice to chat a little bit. Put it out there what everyone was interested in, some of the best stuff going on in 2025, some of the best comic books. And later in the show, the topic of the week will be highlights of 2025. So whether it be just what's going on in life, and also some of the top highlights of 2025 in the comic book world. And let's see what's going on in the chat. Boosh, good to see you again. It's nice that we got, at least it's nice to have some people in the chat today, unlike my co-hosts, that none of them are here. But they should be arriving sometime during the show. And like I said in the pre-show, we got the regular schedule, but a little bit different. So the comic book news will be the same, the usual. Starts off with the rundown, then Variant Insanity. Sal the Slab Guy has provided us with the comic book that has the most variants. We'll get into that later. Then we got Right or Wrong. I got 5 statements for everybody. And if somebody else jumps on, they can jump on. They may have some statements as well. And then for the random panel of the week, it will be random panels of 2025. And then the F-listers will be going over some of the best / worst F-listers in the show. And then, I just got some news right now, but so that is my cue to get us started with the rundown. Everyone's been being teased a lot. There's been quite a few teaser trailers, and one of them that came out was this Supergirl teaser trailer came out last Thursday, so there's a lot going on with that. A lot of people are very excited, and they're set to come out in June of 2026, so we're not too far away from that. We got to see Supergirl. It seems a lot more. Wait, there's somebody. He is joining us right now. There we go. Hey, Dan.
Hey. Actually, I forgot. I thought it started at 8:30, so I'll be right back.
All right, well, we will have Dan join us in a little bit. And then I'll just exit that off. But yeah, so going with the rundown. Supergirl teaser trailer came out, and it has quite a few people excited, and a lot of people, including myself, feels that it has a lot more of a Guardians of the Galaxy type of vibe to it, which I don't mind since I tend to enjoy those movies. And then there was a Lanterns teaser trailer that came out. That was really quick. That was like 10 seconds. But it seems maybe a little bit of a different vibe to the usual stuff we've been seeing lately in the comic book world. More of like a buddy cop kind of thing. It seems like with Hal Jordan teaching John Stewart about being a Green Lantern. So still up in the air. Haven't seen too much of it. Like I said, the trailer was literally like 10 seconds. And then we got some news about The Boys, one show that has already been established and will probably go down as one of the great comic book shows. The Boys is going to have its final season, and the final season will premiere on April 8th with 2 episodes, and then the final episode is set to premiere its final episode May 20th. That's how it's looking for right now. And then Street Fighter. There's been some we more think of Street Fighter as the video games, but there have been comic books of Street Fighter as well. And they're getting their movie, and there was a sneak peek. You got to see many of the people who will be playing the characters. So I'm curious as to see what everybody thinks. Are people agreeing with them? Do you like what you saw or not? And then some of them I was okay with. First look, I wasn't too excited. But we'll see what happens. They've still got time because Street Fighter, the movie, is set to come out October 16th of 2026. And some other things going on is, in comic book news, there's some Spider-Man and Invincible. They had a crossover back in Marvel Team Up 14, and now it's going to be reprinted with some different variant covers. And that is set to come out March 4th. So if you're like me and you didn't get it the first time around, it will be reprinted and it's set to come out March 4th, 2026. The way how time keeps flying by, we'll be there before you know it. And then there's a rumor mill going on. I'm sure when Dan comes back, he and I will definitely like to chat about this one. And there's online, there is a trailer of, it looks like Avengers Doomsday, but not everyone's agreeing that it's real. A lot of us are saying no, we think it's AI. It's not so real. So if anybody has seen it, feel free to let us know what you think. Me, from what I saw of it, I think it's AI. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's a real leaked one. I think somebody made an AI and they took their phone and made it look like they were sneaking in and that they got it. And then literally like 2 minutes ago, Dan sent an article that Jessica Jones' Red Band spinoff story is confirmed for late 2026. So maybe we'll get that next year. But Jessica Jones. But now let's start going over everything. I see in the comments that Boosh had said, yeah, can't wait for Lobo to finally be in the DCU. Yes, that is what's going to have many people very excited. See how Lobo will be. The teaser trailer, he just walks for a split second, so they're still making us wait to see anything. We don't get to hear him speak, but I think Lobo is going to be a great addition to the DCU. And I think the Supergirl movie is going to be fun. I know people are saying, oh, it's so much like Guardians of the Galaxy. But if I like the movie, why am I really going to complain about it? And to have Lobo in there, I think is perfect. So I think it will be a good movie. Mr. Keith says, yes, Supergirl looks good, but yeah, so far not very distinctive or original from a Marvel movie. I want the new DCEU to be more than just James Gunn, but this looks standard. I can agree with that. I can't really argue with that one. And Boo said, yeah, I haven't seen the Avengers trailer yet. I don't really think you're missing much because I don't think it's real. It looks like it's, Steve Rogers is back. Okay, but, I don't think it's real. So, it doesn't get me too pumped up for something that I don't believe is real because it's just like him getting off of a motorcycle and looking, and then Steve Rogers is back. We really got to watch out. AI is taking over. All these AI trailers. Even a while ago, let's say YouTube and stuff, see all these pictures, oh, this video, this person fought this person, and I'm like, I know their record. I know they didn't fight them. And then, or you'll see a picture in the thumbnail has somebody and maybe they look like they're crying, but again, even that was Photoshop. So it was Photoshop, and now there's AI. So we just all need to watch out. And even too, I can say that us on the Kodak Station, we're all real. We're not AI. But who knows? Maybe by this time next year, there'll be another channel, and we'll look and we'll say, wait a minute, that's not a real channel. That's not us. I didn't say that. That's AI, Sonny. But we could always blame anything bad on the AI ones, though. That wasn't me. That was the AI version of me. Yeah, Bruce says, yeah, you definitely can't trust much these days because of AI. That is right. Like I said, we get to blame AI now. I didn't say that. That was AI who said that. Nope, somebody AI. They added an AI into the episode, and that's what happened. That's why it looks like I said that. I'm going to get down to some more stuff. Let me talk about those Spider-Man and Invincible variant covers. Let me get down to some info. Okay, so the list of the confirmed covers for the Spider-Man Invincible reprint will be cover A, Corey Walker and Dave McCagg. Yeah, who were the original series artists. Cover B will be Ryan Otley and Dave McCagg. And then cover C, Eric Larson and Dave McCagg. Cover D, Todd McFarlane and Dave McCagg. Cover E, Mark Bagley and Dave McCagg. And cover F, Alex Savuric and Dave McCagg. And then cover G will be a blank sketch cover. So there you go. Maybe you can get a blank sketch cover. and Dan can draw you a cool character on there. Bruce says, I think Sonny's AI right now. No, I promise you, I am not AI. Sonny Kruger is actually a real person. He is a writer, actor, director, podcast host from Chicago, Illinois, known for the Code X station, where he hosts the Code X podcast. He also has a show called A Series About a Series. He is also a real person. It's really me. But I can't really speak for any of my co-hosts right now because I don't have any. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if AI is taking over them, but if they seem a little off, feel free to let it be known. Say, hey, I think AI took over you, and you guys aren't your real selves. So we'll see what goes on with that. And then, yeah, with the Lanterns teaser trailer, the show Lanterns still doesn't have an official release date yet. It's looking like it would be summer at the earliest, and then if anything, a little later towards the fall. I'm thinking more towards the fall because, like I said before, I know summer will be here, and that everyone kind of knows that the Supergirl movie is going to come out, and that's what's going to have people talking when it comes to DC. So, we might have that, or it could be like Peacemaker, whereas we get the Superman movie come out, and then only like a couple months later, Peacemaker season 2 came out, and it really wanted you to, watch the movie. It goes along with the movie, so it could be something like that, where Supergirl comes out in June, and literally a couple months later, or a month and a half later, or something like that, we could see Lanterns. Now, I heard one thing about the Lantern show. Someone was saying, "Oh, it's been compared to True Detective." I really doubt it'd be like True Detective. I love True Detective, but I don't think Lanterns is going to be that dark. I think they're going to try to keep it fun, and they're going to want many different audiences, many different people in the audience to watch it. So if you went with True Detectives, and that's very adult. Mr. Keith says, AI tried to replicate Sonny, but he's just too real. And that is right. There's no other Sonny Kruger. I am the one and only. And that gets a star. And even Bruce says, makes sense. It can try. It can try all at once, but to people, you will all know that there's only one me. And that's me right now. So right now I'm on the Code X station. Nothing else. Or other shows, like I said, like a series about series, but I'll let you know that. I let it be known when I'm on something. So if I'm suddenly somewhere I didn't mention, don't trust it. That's AI. And if you see me breaking toys somewhere, that's also AI. Of course, the Codex guys will say, no, it's really me, but no, that'd be AI video. There's no videos of me doing that because that's a bad thing, and I don't do that. When it comes to The Boys, the final season, I still haven't watched that. The Boys is a show I kind of think like, should I read the comic first? Which I do have a comic book right by me, right here. Let me reach it. This is one given me by Mighty Mike Harbor. Gave me this one, so this includes issues 1 through 14. Yeah. So we got, there you go. There's a nice little pretty picture from The Boys. So I wonder if I should just watch if I should just read a lot of it first and then start the show, or also thinking if I should wait till the show ends and then watch it so that I can binge watch the whole thing without any breaks in between. And how about everybody watching? Even this goes for you who aren't watching live. You can still put it in the comments later. Do you watch The Boys? Are you excited for this show to come to its end? Are you excited for some of the spin-offs that are going to be happening with it? So just see how it goes. Let it be known what you think. Like I said, I constantly only hear good things about The Boys, so I do look forward to reading it. I do look forward to watching it. And then Bruce says, yeah, it's a collection. I need to get it for myself. So if you get it, let me know what you think. And when I get to reading it, I'll let it be known what I think of it. So speaking of shows that we like and books that we like I said, with the Codex Awards coming up this Saturday, one of the awards will be Best Series Read. So one of the awards is Best Series that happened this year, and then one is Best Series Read, which could be from this year, could be from 30 years ago. Those are always some of my favorite awards. And another one, Best Cover, is always fun to look at. So now I'll be deciding. I got some good pictures to look at, some good covers. And Mr. Keith says, yeah, it's hilarious that The Boys was created by a guy who famously hates superheroes. Yeah. Speaking of that guy, speaking of Garth Ennis, I'm still deciding as to what was my favorite comic I read this year. Pride and Joy was one that I really did enjoy. Some of the other ones that I'm considering picking for the top comic I read, one from this one, JLA Misassembled. That was one Dan picked, and that we reviewed. That was one of the first ones we reviewed of 2025. Another one I'm considering going with is Superman for All Seasons. So I've got some time. I've got a few days to think about it. Yeah. And Bruce says, yeah, I read a few issues of The Boys, and it was pretty good. I dig most of Garth Ennis' work. His Punisher and Hitman books are some of my all-time favorites. Same here. I do love those, especially the Punisher, the collection called Welcome Back, Frank, where he fights, Manucci in them. Some of the best Punisher comics I've ever read, and I've read a lot of comic books. And then Hitman, I'm a Hitman fan as well. Even two, I have somewhere around me. I have the Greatest Hits Volume 1. And yeah, that one, even two, before I picked some, we reviewed Hitman before, the Hitman and Superman crossover one. And that one, yeah, back in the day, me and Timmy had a great conversation about that one. But there's still some more Hitman. I think maybe in 2026 we'll have to visit Hitman again, maybe do a review, because I haven't reviewed a Hitman story with Uncle Gary or Mike, so we'll see. And Boo says, yeah, Mr. K, that was classic. All right. And then, yeah, so we will see what goes on. And then, like I said, when I'm searching for my favorite covers, not long ago, I got this book. It's Detective Comics, issue 127. And that is one of my favorite covers. However, it did not come out in 2025, so it can't win, but it's covered by Lee Bermejo. So, one of my all-time favorite covers. I discovered it this year. I got it this year. So we'll see. Miss Key says, I also just started Paper Girls. I don't really dig too much nostalgia bait, but it's so far accurate to the 80s. Yeah. And Paper Girls was a show, the comic book series, but it was also a show, and I almost had the part of the Wolfman, the character. I'm not too sure if that's the name, but it has a wolf head and wears a Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction shirt. I was up for being that character. I didn't get it, but hey, it's an interesting, when I see the character, I think, I wonder if, what if I played the character? Bruce says, I just saw a review for Hitman Omnibus Volume 2 today on Near Mint Condition. Nice. Near Mint Condition, a friend of the Codex Stations. So it's a cool Batman cover. Yeah, like I said, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I want that cover. It's one of my favorites. And then, just checking in on some of my old other Codex guys. But Dan Kelly will be joining us today. He will be jumping back online. And in case you want to find Dan Kelly, you want to get yourself some art, you can go to @DanKellyArt. Like I was saying with those Spider-Man and Invincible variant covers, one of them is blank cover, so I'm sure Mr. Dan Kelly will be up for drawing a sketch on there. And now, I say it is time. We go on. We've covered a lot of the news going on today, so it's time that we get a little insane. It's a bit insane episode that you read last one, and I'm all alone. So it's time for some variant insanity. for the last time of 2025, we play Variant Insanity. So you know the rules. Take a guess as to which comic book had the most variants this week. And as usual, it was Sal the Slab Guy who provided me with the information as to which comic book had the most variants this week. I'll give you some time to guess. And you know what? I got a lot of notes. I got my codex, notebook here, but just a notebook. But there's a cool codex sticker on there. And that's what I use in there. But we've had some interesting ones over 2025. Let me start us off. Some of the ones we had that had one variant insanity. There was Heat Seeker with 18. There was Green Hornet / Miss Fury. Of course, Dynamite. Dynamite, of course, dominated for a while. Well, it still dominates always. And then there was, there was a Terminator that had 14 covers. I'm getting a call, but I'll have to ignore that because I'm live on the podcast. Mr. Keith's coming in guessing Batman with 23. And then some of the other variant standards, we had Silverhawks. At one point, Silverhawks issue number 1 had 49 covers. That was quite a lot. And then there was Red Hulk at 14 at one point. There was, 14 seemed to be the number that it was hit quite a bit. There was a Transformers one with 17. There was a Herculoids one that had 33. Yeah, there was a tie before. There was there was a tie before between Darkwing number 1 and DuckTales number 3. They each had 19 on the same week. Boo's coming in with TMNT with 24. It's usually Richard's guess. Yeah, Vampirella seemed to really dominate this. I think Vampirella might have even come close with Thundercats because Vampirella one time had 40. Then there was another time when there was Thundercats, of course, 29. And then there was an Amazing Spider-Man that had 40. Let's see what else. Yeah. They pointed 12. Every now and then, so when we get to like 12, 13, it seems low. But when you think about how many covers that is. And of course, going over this, of course, when I was just talking about Vampirella, Thundercats came in before. They had another 27. And there was Silverhawks at 30. Silverhawks was one that had quite a lot. There's another Vampirella came across at 23. Yeah. Exquisite Corpses had no Exquisite Corpses number 1 had 34 at one point. And of course, Thundercats lost number 13. And Thundercats lost 3. And there was another Vampirella with 30. So it said that this year seemed to really be Thundercats, Vampirella, every now and then somebody else in there. There's a VR Troopers that had 13. Yeah. And then some of the last ones we were going through. Fantastic Four had 20 covers at one point. Vampirella, Armageddon had 30 covers. Man, it really was Vampirella who seemed to be dominating 2025 with the covers. All right, Heat Seekers had 33 before. There was another Thundercats, 23. And then we could say, TMNT Shredder, number 1 had before. That one had 42. And about the 40, we see a 40, that's just hilariously ridiculous for damn near any book. Yes, agreed. But it does give us something to talk about here on Codex. Batman we talked about 40. Batman Volume 4, number 1, had 53 covers.
I'm back.
And there's Dan just in time for Variant Insanity. I was going over some of the ones before.
Sorry, I don't know why I forgot that it starts at 8 tonight. I'm used to the 8:30 on Thursdays and completely forgot. I had just come down before. I was like, all right, well, I was like, my daughter, my 7-year-old, just started her bath, and I was like, all right, well, let me come down and get the stuff set up, so it's ready when she gets out of the bath.
No problem.
My wife was home late from work, so where's that? I thought
is it a DuckTales shirt you have on? Or who's that? Oh, Joe. Okay, I was. Oh, they were cool. Hey, you got Joker, and I've also got some Joker.
Oh, nice.
Look at that. We're both Jokers today. All right, Dan. So
where's Sal at? I thought he was supposed to be on too.
He might jump on, but I don't know where he is. But all right, we'd like to take a guess as to who comic book had the most variants this week. Mr. Keith came in, said Batman with 23. Who said TMNT with 24?
I don't even know what came out this week. I haven't been to the shop yet. Well, I'm sure. I'm just looking at what books I got. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say the Mark Spears Monsters because I know it had a because I know it had a. I don't know how many covers it had, but I know it had a blind bag. So
all right,
drip. Yep. So I'm assuming since I had a blind bag, and the last one he did, the Halloween one, didn't have like 1,000 covers. So I'm gonna guess that.
Okay, well, like I said, this information is given to me by Sal the Slab Guy, or an AI version of whom we talked about some AI stuff earlier with that Avengers thing. Yeah, we were saying no, and I was agreeing with you, Dan. I don't think that was real. That I think it was AI. No, that AI didn't. I think we can agree that the entire Dark Knight trilogy together is a Christmas movie. Agreed. Good time to watch it. The whole trilogy.
Yes.
Okay, so we get the countdown up to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out of all the comic books that came out this year, this comic book did one time earlier in the year.
I thought you were talking about this week.
No, it is this week. But out of all the comic books that came out this year, one time it won Variant Insanity. And now for the second time it wins Variant Insanity. Exquisite Corpses number 8 wins Variant Insanity this week. Would you like to take a guess as to how many covers it
had? 30. Though I feel like that's too many, but I feel like I know like the Mark Spears one had to have had a ton of them.
Well, like I said, good thing I said it before I got to it. It's Sal the Slab Guy who provides me with the information. So I'll give you a countdown. It's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This week, Exquisite Corpses number 8 had a total of 17 covers.
17. I gotta look up the Mark Spears one.
Did I say 17 or I meant to say 16? So
well, no, because I'm looking at the Mark Spears one now, and it says the Mark Spears one has 92 covers.
Okay, that is on Sal the Slab Guy. Okay, so what is it, Dan? How many covers?
I'm looking at League of Comic Geeks, and now, granted, what did you say? Exquisite Corpses had
16.
All right, so it lists on League of Comic Geeks. It lists Exquisite Corpses as it the way it does it on there is it shows like the A cover and then has a number in the corners like plus whatever. So I guess that's like so for Exquisite Corpses it says plus 12. So I'm going to assume that means the A cover plus 12, 3, 4, 6, 7, yeah. So there's so it lists 13 for that, and it lists the A cover plus 92 for Mark Spears. So that would be 93 covers for that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm scrolling through them all now, and it's a freaking ton of them.
So there you go. Mark Spears Monsters, number what? One?
Number 8.
Number 8. With 93 covers. And Sal the Slab Guy is in trouble. But speaking of Sal, tomorrow, Dan, comic character of the week. Who is the character for this week?
We're not doing one tomorrow.
So tomorrow isn't. So it is done for the rest of the year then, right?
Yeah, it was Jamie's pick, and he had picked Miles Morales, and then Sal said, like, well, I don't really know a lot about him, so I'll drop out. Then, then they were just, Jamie just was like, well, you want to just wait till the next one? So I guess we're just not doing one, and then we're, taking off this week, and then, obviously next week because it's
Christmas,
Christmas,
New
and the
Year's.
week after that is New Year's. So I guess in 3 weeks we'll be back with Miles Morales.
January 8th. Okay. Okay. Bruce said Monsters has some phenomenal covers. All right. I'm gonna have to check that out. And yeah, but like I said, so no comic character of the week for the rest of the year, but the year is almost over. But yes, this Saturday, Comics Unleashed is the Codex Awards. So I'll be planning to be there. So yeah, it'll be a fun one, Dan.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Have you made all your picks?
No, man. Even earlier in the show, I was pulling out some of my comics, like, I'm trying to pick out which one. Yeah, and then the next few days, maybe tomorrow, I should really get down to it and really, since I won't be watching comic character of the week, I could really focus on the awards and who's going to win.
So I picked everything except best current series and best series read, and really best current series. I really just have to like turn around and look at the box and be like, all right, which, kind of go through which series have I read. So that's really just going to be like looking here and jogging my memory. But the best series read, I think that one's going to be tough. Because for best series read, it doesn't have to be something that came out this year. It could just be whatever you read this year. So, I'm trying to, it's like thinking back. What stuff did I read for comic character of the week? What new series did I read? What stuff did I go back and reread, or just for the hell of it, or read for the first time just for the hell of it? Like off the top of my head, I would say the Golden Age, but it's not the first time I've read it either. I've read it, I don't even know how many times I've read it, but it's still fantastic. So.
Yeah, like I said, it's hard to pick one. Usually what I try to do is I try to be like, okay, if I read it before, just eliminate those, because then I'm just going to be having a hard time. I'm going to have like a 10-way tie. So I just try to think of something that I read this year. Last year, I gave it to this one. I gave it to Frank Miller's Daredevil.
Yeah.
It was the first time I was reading it last year and loved it.
I think I got to go through the comic character of the day stuff, or the comic character of the week stuff, and say like, all right, which stuff did I read or reread for this? Because there's a ton of stuff for that.
Yeah.
Plus, I kind of want to, since we're already gonna be picking best current series, which is something for this year, I kind of want to pick something that didn't come out this year for best read, because everything else is like best of 2025. So it's kind of the opportunity to kind of throw something else extra in there.
Yeah, that's usually my favorite award. That one, the covers, there's a lot of fun things going on, so I'm excited.
So I did make sure that like last year when it got down to making the picks, and I was like, crap, what books came out this year? Throughout this year, I just have the little note app in my phone, and whenever I would see a cover, I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. I would just type in like Incredible Hulk, whatever, like blah blah blah, whatever whatever cover, and just have it in there. So when it got to be a few days ago, and I'm like, all right, I got to make my cover pick. I had like 8 or 9 on there. I'm just like, all right, let me just Google them, and and now I could pick which one it is, because I've made this list throughout the year.
Nice. All right, yeah. So we will see. We've got a bit of deciding to do. Yeah, so I might have only picked like one award or something. So got a lot of work ahead, but it's fun work. I love it.
Yeah.
And now, Dan, we get on to right or wrong. Do you have any statements? I got 5. It's up to you if you want to throw any in.
I have one that I had like last time I did right or wrong, I had like one extra. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to throw it out as a bonus. I'm going to save this for next time.
All right, then, Dan. I'll jump on with mine, and then I'll let you get the last one. Okay, so a lot of my statements today go with Codex, go with 2025 coming to an end, 2026 beginning. So my first right or wrong, 2025 was the best year in comics of the decade.
See, that's so starting with 2020 or going.
Yeah, I'll say starting with 2020. I won't go with like 2018, just like 2020. Right. The 2020s.
I'm gonna say wrong, Because yeah, I'm gonna. Well, we go back and elaborate. So I'll just for now I'll just say wrong.
You say wrong. I actually go with right. Like I said, we'll get back to it. Number two, 2026 will be a better year in comics than 2025.
I'll say right.
Okay, and for Mr. Keith did right for number one. Okay, for sorry, Dan. Right now, for number two, did you say right or wrong?
To number two, I said right.
Number two, I'm gonna say wrong. I'd like for things to always get better, but I just don't think it will get better. All right, so there you go. We're different sides both times. Okay, number three. This is the Codex Station. 2025 was the best year of the Codex Station.
I'll say right.
Yeah, this is one like I said, I'm really thinking about it too. I think, there's like some interesting stuff out there. I'm more like interested to see what the crowd, everybody has to say. I could say right. I could see both points, but I say right. I think I like to think that we always get better. I mean, there were a lot of highlights when I was going over a lot of stuff for 2025. I'm like, man, that was this year. That was this year. Yeah. So
I think I'm trying to think back. Because for me too, it's what I'm trying to think, like which interviews did I do in 2025, which ones did I do in 2024, but I think I had some good ones last year. We had some good characters of the week. We had some good guests on. I'm elaborating there. We come back to elaborate. I'll shut up.
No problem. All good. Mr. Keith said right, and Mr. Keith and Bruce both said right. So yes. 2025, best year of the Codex Station. Yeah, it is a pretty tough one, Dan. We've got to think about. Wait a minute. All right, but number 4, because this is episode 179 of the Codex podcast, so we should hit episode 200 in 2026. So, statement number 4, episode 200 of the Codex podcast will be one of the top 5 episodes of the show.
Right.
And I say right. So I'm working towards, when we get to it, I'll make sure I want it to be one of the top ones, big 200.
Sonny, the reason it's going to be that great, everyone, is because Sonny is going to give himself a full waxing from head to toe. There's not going to be
no way.
And he's going to do it live on air too. There's not going to be a single hair left on there.
No way. I'm already losing it fast enough. I'm trying to enjoy it while I have it. Good. Mr. Keith said right there. Yeah. Episode 200 will be one of the top 5 episodes of the show. All right, my 5th one. My last one was there will one day be a documentary on the Code X Station.
Right.
I say right.
Because
one day. I was thinking, one day it's going to happen. And and if it takes too long, maybe I'll just end up making it. But I think one day in the future, I don't even think it will have to be any of us. I think there will be a documentary on the Codex Station. So those are my 5 statements for right or wrong. Dan, you had one more, and
I have the bonus one. In our lifetime, now this could be 20, 30 years from now, but in our lifetime, we will see a Marvel DC crossover movie.
I say right.
I say right as well.
Yeah, I get you. Especially when they see, they want money. So when they see how popular it is, they know people are excited for all the big events. They know if there's a movie, with Superman and Thor and Spider-Man and Batman, everybody, they know.
All right. Do you want to swing back around to number 1?
Okay. Yeah. So with it being the best, 2025 being the best year in comics of the decade, me, I say right. From what I've read, I say yes, but I'm not I haven't read so much. But for me, I'd say yes. From what I've read of X-Men this year and the absolute stories that DC's been having, I'm going to go with yes. And then, the Punisher Red Band. It was cool to see Punisher. He got the logo back. So, from what I've read, I say yes.
I'm going to say wrong just because, it was a good year. It wasn't a bad year. But we did get the Punisher miniseries towards the end of the year now, but we didn't have a regular ongoing series. Daredevil was just kind of okay. I'm just kind of going by just the books I read. Captain America, the new series started a couple months ago. It's been pretty good so far, but it's just a small sample size. X-Men, I haven't been into that at all. I was excited for the stuff with the end of the Age of Krakoa, but I just was unimpressed with what I read. Detective Comics has gotten good the last 3 or 4 months, but the rest of the year leading up to that, when Ram V was writing, and I thought it was just terrible. I hated it. Hush 2 has been a disappointment. DC overall,
I wonder if Hush 2 will actually finish next year, or if
maybe that should have been right or wrong. Hush 2 will DC's been good overall, but just looking back to DC, Marvel, and to all of them, I feel like DC was really good, Marvel took a hit, and I would just have to really, again, with the books, just going by the ones that I personally read, I would have to go back and really look at the other years. But especially thinking of Daredevil just 3 or 4 years ago, that was one of the best books that that was coming out. Moon Knight's still good, but it's like when it first launched a few years ago, it was like, oh my god, that was the best book going, along with that amazing Zdarsky run on Daredevil. So yeah.
All right. And then number 2 was that 2026 will be a better year in comics than 2025. And Mr. Keith had it right, and Rouge had it right. They both had it right. You said it right. I had actually gone wrong. It's just my guess. I'd like to see the year always get better, but I don't think it'll get better.
See, I think we're getting a new Daredevil series with a new creative team, and it's not that the last series was bad. It just, following up that epic Zdarsky run, it didn't, it didn't reach that same level. So hopefully that'll be good.
Punisher, I'm excited for that one.
Our favorite indie book, or is that in the awards show?
I'd go with the awards.
I'd say watch the awards show, because it may be best current series, may not. But anyways, we're getting a new Daredevil book. Captain America's continuing, and we're going to have, by the end of the year, like a good sample size of it. We're getting a new Punisher ongoing series. This Age of Revelation thing for X-Men, I know Gary and Sal are reading it, and they just talk about what a hot mess it is. So that'll be over with.
I have been enjoying that. But it does end when the year ends.
We'll be getting the conclusion of DCKO, which has been interesting so far. We're getting all those new DC series they announced. Lobo and Zatanna and Firestorm and Legion of Superheroes, and I can't even remember them all. The new Constantine book. I know I'm forgetting some because they announced like 8 or 9 books. Like, we're getting all these new books. So even if some of them aren't good, chances are, at least half of them will be good. I think they're doing another. I know Greg Rucka's doing another Batman adjacent book, like Tales of the Dark Knight or something. So like all that new stuff, the current creative teams that just started on Batman and Detective Comics like 3 or 4 months ago will like really be getting into it. Yeah, Demon. That's right. Demon's getting a new book. I said that, the new creative team with Batman and Detective Comics has only got like 3 or 4 issues so far, so they'll have the whole year. Philip Kennedy Johnson, they've only had 2 issues of the new Hulk book, Infernal Hulk. So, we'll have the whole year of that. I think he's supposed to do another Hell Hunters book, so hopefully this year that'll be cool. You know, for anybody
crossovers too, like
yeah, well,
Superman, Spider-Man, yeah.
the two Superman Spider-Man crossovers we'll be getting. You know, for anybody that's been reading the Ghost Machine books, if you haven't read the one that came out, if you haven't read Geiger that came out last week, and you don't want to have it spoiled, earplugs in 3, 2, 1. Do the Sunny countdown. You know, Redcoat showed up on the last page of Geiger, so this whole thing that they've been building up to, really since it started, what, like 2 or 3 years ago, like finally gonna get it where like these characters are gonna, you know, Redcoat and Geiger and the Northerner and Junkyard Joe, like all these characters are gonna start, you know, this unknown war that they've been teasing, or like, you know, looks like it's gonna start coming together. So
yeah, that'd be cool. That does sound good.
And just God, and I know I'm you know, forgetting more stuff too, but you know, plus movie wise, we're gonna get Supergirl with a Jason Momoa Lobo. We're gonna get the Vision series. We'll get the Wonder Man series, which kind of looks bad, but you know, whatever. We're gonna get the new Avengers movie. So yeah, just looks like a lot of
26. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna get Daredevil Born Again season 2. We're gonna get the Punisher special. We're gonna get the new Spider-Man movie. So
if they don't get delayed, hopefully more stuff does come out.
Yeah. So yeah, I just, you know, looking forward to, you know, like looking at what's coming up in 2026. It's got me, you know, pretty excited. And you know, now like it's, you know, it's just like 2 weeks away, but you know, they're going to announce stuff that we don't even know about yet. That's going to be in the works. It's going to get announced a couple months from now, halfway through the year, come out at the end of the year. Like we're going to get all kinds of stuff we don't even know about yet.
Yep, and everybody watching, you know, that we will bring it up on the Codex podcast and let you know. And then number 3 was that 2025 was the best year of the Codex station. We were kind of getting onto that one earlier. That you know, we see when they think about certain parts. Yeah, you know.
Oh man, they're so good. They're so good, Booge.
About the Ghost Machine books, yeah.
I know they just released a second hardcover for Geiger. They have like the collected volumes, but I know they just released a second hardcover for that. Yeah, I'd say 2025 probably. You know, we again, you know, had some good interviews, had some good guests.
Some good episodes of all the shows. You know, enjoying it. We're not done yet. Yeah,
we had a lot of fun. You know, some new, you know, stuff that we tried out here or there. Yeah, we had. I think Mike join the team this year, or was it last year?
Late last year. He did maybe 2 episodes of the podcast last year.
Yeah.
So it was good like to have him officially be on the show multiple times. You know, a lot this year.
Yeah. And you know, and Chris just joined the station. So yeah, it was a good year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I was more kind of interested in seeing like what everybody in the crowd says, you know, audience, and they booze him to keep they both say right.
Yeah, you know, our audience grew. You know, it didn't quite hit what we wanted it to, but you know, ever forward.
Yeah, we're appreciative of what we have. So yeah, maybe we'll hit that 2,000 mark. Hopefully, we hit that 2K mark in 2026. And then number 4 is about episode 200 of the Codex podcast. It's something else to look forward to in 2026. That will be one of the top 5 episodes of the podcast. And you know, I said yeah, and Dan, you know, said yeah, and I won't be doing that wax thing though. Don't expect that though. No waxing.
I was just kidding. He's not going to do that. He is going to get a Prince Albert piercing live on the show though.
No way. And you know, it's interesting you mentioned Prince Albert. There's somebody in the F list too. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, no Prince Albert's here. Although there's no kink shaming if anybody does have one.
No kink shame. We don't kink shame here.
And then number 5 was there will one day be a documentary on the Codex station, and we said yes, we think right. We even said even if one of us has to do it one day, but I think somebody else will. I think, you know, huge things for the Codex station, and one day there will be a documentary about all of us, how it began, what's going on in our lives, and who knows.
Oh, Sonny's the filmmaker. You should do it. You should do it like like it's the Codex version of Spinal Tap.
Yeah. Yeah, my Spinal Tap movies somewhere over there. To my rock movie collections, most famous.
Jamie was in Baltimore for Comic-Con last year, didn't make it this year. Maybe he'll be back next year. You could make the trip to Charm City as well.
Yeah, and yes, definitely we have to get some. We definitely have to record there. All of us being together.
You and Jamie can take a road trip. You can drive here together, and then you could document it on the way. Maybe it could be a short film.
Yeah, it would be pretty interesting. Yeah, I'd be like, I want my brown lantern ring.
Yes, you could write a little script, and then you could film it where Jamie's like, "Fuck you, Sonny, I'm not saying that." Like, have you ever seen the movie America's Sweethearts with John Cusack and Christopher Walken and who else was in it? Juliette Lewis and Alan Arkin and Hank Azaria and.
God, yeah, I haven't seen it. Is it a road trip?
What?
Is it about a road trip?
Well, no, it's about
So it could be an figure edition.
It's about Christopher Walken plays this guy that's this like visionary Stanley Kubrick-esque director, but he's also kind of eccentric, and he's shot this new movie that's supposed to be coming out with John Cusack and Catherine Zeta-Jones, and they're like the Hollywood couple, and they've made all these movies. They star together, and they're like a couple in real life, but they've broken up. And then and the whole movie's about them doing this press junket in this, this like resort. All the press are there, and it's nobody knows that they've broken up, and she's with another guy, and John Cusack. That she was cheating on John Cusack's character with on the set.
What was it called?
America's Sweethearts.
Damn, I got to add it to the list, and I will check it out.
And John,
I don't want to hear spoilers, though.
I was going to say, John Cusack's character is like really neurotic about it, but there's stuff in it where like nobody's seen the movie. Like Stanley Tucci plays the head of the studio, and he's losing his shit because he hasn't seen the movie. The director has like only sent him the opening trailer, like not even the trailer, like the opening, like not even the credits, just the title card. And he's supposed to bring it to the junket, and then like the big reveal about what the movie actually is. And
let me see it. I will watch it, Dan.
Check it out. It is laugh out loud hysterical. I'm already a big John Cusack fan, which is why I watched it. But the movie is it's so funny. And then like all these little cameos in it, like Alan Arkin.
Don't spoil all. Let me.
No, I'm just saying, like Alan Arkin has this little role in it. Like there's no like surprise. Like, oh, I didn't know blah 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 popped up.
I didn't. Now I knew, but now I know Alan Arkin's going to be in there.
Yeah, Alan Arkin's in it like right in the beginning.
I'll check it out, Dan. I will add it to the list, and I will get to it. And then so there we go about the documentary. But it's fun things to have for the Codex station. And then Dan, you hit the bonus. Right.
That at some point in our lifetime, even if it's a decade or two from now, we will see a DC and Marvel crossover movie.
And we both went with right, yeah. I think we'll see it. Who knows when, but I think we'll see it.
Yeah. I mean, it maybe, with James Gunn being in charge of DC now, maybe they could play nice, maybe Sony decides to do it with all the Spider-Man characters. They're like, hey, we've got the rights of these. We're going to go, do something, on our own, who knows?
Morbius versus Superman.
Oh, but no, it'll be Morbius versus the Joker. It'll be an all Jared Leto movie.
There you go.
It'll be Jamie's dream come true.
I was just gonna say making that.
But Yeah, I just feel like I feel like at some point it's inevitable.
I think it'll happen. And everybody else watching, let me know if you think it'll happen. And what you'd like to see, who you'd like to see in there. So, Jared Leto Morbius versus Jared Leto Joker. So that's that's what Jamie wants. We'll speak for him and say that's what he wants.
I mean, who knows? We could have Henry Cavill Superman versus Henry Cavill Calvarine. We could have Ben Affleck Daredevil against Ben Affleck Batman.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, that could happen. Deadpool against Hal Jordan, Green Lantern.
Yeah, we could have Ryan Reynolds against Ryan Reynolds. There's so many actors that have been in Marvel and DC.
Yeah, now so many crossing over. So.
And we got to have Nicholas Hoult Beast against Nicholas Hoult Lex Luthor.
Yeah. I'm trying to some other quick ones there. Well, we just had Scarlett Johansson the other week that she might go be somebody in Batman, so we'll see what happens with her.
Oh, yeah, Scarlett Johansson, yeah. And now everyone's wondering who that's going to be.
Yeah. We'll see, but like I said, I hope it comes out. I think it'd be an awesome movie. Marvel versus DC or DC versus Marvel, whichever you want to call it. And then it's time for the random panels of the year. We've had some great ones. We sent one earlier. Today's Let's Show, I've won a new panel. Vice random panel of the week. Go.
Yeah, I sent this one to Sunny like 3 hours ago.
Yep. Wolverine, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, and Thor. Captain Marvel says, drop your pants. Which I did not do.
Yes.
Yeah, Nick Cage, Superman versus Nick Cage, Ghost Rider. It'd be pretty crazy. Yeah, so that was random panel that you sent me today. We've had quite a lot of fun ones throughout the year, so I wanted to just show quite a bit. There was the man. At last, my life's ambition achieved. I've got the ugliest face in the world. There was Aquaman looking in the mirrors. Yes, I'm donating 50% of the profits to my Aqua dolls to found a new Seaman's home to be called Aquaman's Home for Seamen. And then there was this one. Yeah, this shall be my costume to terrorize all evildoers. Yeah, quite an outfit that guy had. Oh yeah, I like who they catch shoplifting. Yeah, who knows? And this one, just a little bit of distraction. There you go. Power Girl. She said, "What's everyone looking at me for? How am I supposed to distract?" And then she says, "Oh."
Yeah. I know which one that's from. That's from the opening arc of the Superman Batman, the book that Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness did, because they wanted Power Girl to go distract this teenage boy.
Yeah. So everyone looked at her. There's Peacemaker saying, he'd do anything for peace. He'd even eat a bucket of poop. This one, the guy says, "Yeah. So it would be, Jenny. Do you want to dance with me or have more cake?" And she says, "Cake."
I think Jenny made the right call.
Yeah, I say she did too. This is the one that started the year. Yeah, this will hurt me more than it hurts you, son. And he's, spanking Superman. Superman, who's tiny, says, "Punish me, Daddy. I deserve it."
Sonny likes this because to him, he feels like he's Jor-El here, and all of his action figures are Superman, and that's why they're all broken. He just puts them over his knee and just spanks them.
Well, hey, I mean, he is the size of an action figure. So. And then remember this one, yeah. "If your promise means that much, then you'll give up. Then give up Dick." Said, "Oh, I couldn't." Hey, at least he's honest. And then this one, like this guy surrounded by smoke, and I need a marijuana. I gotta have a reefer. And the guy says, "Talk first. Start talking." Yeah. He looks like he's on more than just he looks like he's done more than smoke weed.
Yeah, this is clearly written by people that have never actually smoked weed.
Yeah. And this is one of the wildest ones. It was towards Halloween. Yeah, and we go, "Oh no, those zombies have changed her into a cat."
Boom, boom.
Yeah, boom, boom. These zombies, I guess these zombies also do voodoo. They've turned this woman into a cat. There's a painting of just some blackness. Yeah, just behind it. I don't know what they've got going on. And there's one guy who's behind there in a suit. Yeah, just watching the craziness.
That's like the Rick James painting there. Darkness, here comes darkness.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, Rick James. And then so there was a lot of fun random panels of the week, and then, of course, on Comic Character of the Day, the Facebook page, there's random panels every single day. And then on the Codex podcast, we'll have more random panels every week. I dig Reefers, but he's on something else.
Looks like Joe Cocaine, man.
Or maybe I look at that guy, yeah. He just needs a marijuana.
Yeah, maybe the one he has been laced with like PCP.
I would agree, yeah. And then now, but I said, a lot of fun random panels this year. There'll be more fun ones next year. And now it's time for the F list. We had quite a lot of characters join the F list this year. We don't have everyone, but we've got quite a few. So the year started off, the first person who joined the F list was this one. Look at that. Come on, man, blow hard. Someone call me. Blow hard was the first character to join the F list in 2025. And guess what he did? He blew a lot.
It looks like Gomez Adams from the original Addams Family TV show.
He does. He really does. Yeah, they probably just looked and copied and then said, hey, maybe if we just make him like blow a lot. Yeah. And then we had, don't forget, there was Smash. The whole ripoff was purple, not Beast. Matter Smash gets, bigger Smash gets. I remember that when he had so many cheesy lines like that about smashing. Like nobody smashes Smash.
And it's kind of a ripoff of the Wildcats character Maul too, because remember Maul, like, you know, it wasn't the matter he gets, the bigger he gets, but you know, he would grow bigger and you know, and he was purple and he would grow bigger, and the bigger he got, the stronger he got, but he was also a genius, and the bigger he got, the dumber he would get.
Yeah.
And then later on they did it where he tried, like, essentially was like starving himself and shrinking himself to, or not like Ant-Man, but like, you know, emaciating himself. And he's like, well, if I get dumber as I get bigger, you know, maybe I'll get smarter as I get smaller.
Yeah, Smash. Like, there you go. Like I said, it's a good also comparison. Like we know Smash is a complete copy of the Hulk, but also a bit of Maul.
Yeah.
And then it was Dirt Nap, who was the guy who turned to a rat. Come on and get me.
Oh yeah, that was so stupid.
Like that rat's really gonna be Wolverine. There was old Goody Two Shoes, and there was the picture when when the thing just flicked him and he flew right out of his boots. There was Bartholomew J. Troll.
Oh yeah, Bartholomew J. Troll. Yeah, from another one from old Robbie Liefeld.
Yeah. Did you say Rob Liefeld? Well, there you go. Another one of his master creations, the pouch.
Well, he didn't really create it. Like somebody made that, and you know, like somebody made that thing as a parody of it. And credit to Liefeld, he had enough sense. You know, he had enough of a sense of humor to laugh at himself, where he actually like put it, you know, as that backup story in the comic. But yeah, that's still
the pouch. You were the one who told me about him, and I immediately looked him up and found out about him.
And you're like, this can't be real, and you're like, oh, it is real.
Yeah, and like literally in a comic book too. Like there was one part where the pouch mentioned going to bed, and it was just all the pouches.
They were all like separated. Yeah, it was somebody that like drew it as a joke, and I guess he, you know, actually like said, you know, credit where credit's due. He was able to laugh at himself enough where he actually put it out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I do like the pouch. How bad it is, yes. I will give credit to that. I will give a thumbs up to pouch. There's another one you introduced me to, Dan. You gave me Omega Fight, the whole team. Strong Arm and Sanu, and it's Miss Mass and Bile and Technor and Brain Drain. Yeah. So Omega Fight. Another one What was saying, Rob Liefeld and characters you've introduced us to. Blood Wolf, look how huge his knee is. And of course, he's so edgy. Eat crap and die, filthy stinking maggot. Yeah, he's not a copy of Wolverine or Lobo or anybody.
Yeah, I mean it's low hanging. The guy at my comic shop, whenever I'd say anything about Liefeld, he's like, "Well, it's kind of low hanging fruit." I'm like, "Yeah, but it is for a reason."
And then there was the perfect character who was for Easter. I know we picked this one on Easter time, yeah. And so I turned to a life of crime, stealing from kids' Easter baskets. Yeah. Man, just an Easter bunny stealing from kids' Easter baskets, easily defeated by Spider-Man. And now, this one I think is one of the most interesting F-listers, especially looks-wise. It was Anti-Lad. He was an enemy of the Legion of
the Legion thing where he had the butt for a head.
Yes. And then, yeah, look at him in action. Look at how he fights. What a cool pose. We both did it at the same time, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Anti-Lad, but there was also Throb. Not a good name. If you like Dominoes, maybe you like Dr. Domino. We had a Wonder Woman villain. And then, sometimes, sometimes you gotta have some Savage Dragon villain.
I was gonna say that's definitely from Savage Dragon.
Yeah. Backfire. Yeah, we named the list here the Liefeld and Friends list. Yeah, the real blood. Yeah.
And that's not even all, because I remember Deadlock was on there too from Bloodstrike. Because I remember I sent you that, or I sent that one, and I was like, this guy's super lame. This guy's a huge Wolverine off.
Yeah, there was another one who joined. Yeah, and then there was Greenback, Money. Oh, he likes money. There was the Rainbow Raiders. There was another one you picked, Dan. There was Gunfire. Yeah. One of the 3 episodes I missed the other. We still have absolutely no idea what the hell you're talking about. Yvette, hit the deck, and his golden gun. He's so cool and edgy. And then there you go. There's Agent America. We had Smash before, and then once it came close to the 4th of July, we came in, and one of the worst Captain America ripoffs. Oh man.
Well, yeah, because he went to do the Cap book, and then Marvel gave him fucking $3 million to come back and do those books, and then they fired him after 6 issues because it was so bad and so delayed because he couldn't get it done on time. So he took the rest of his stories that he was gonna do, and then he went and did another character that was an obvious Captain America ripoff. Marvel went to sue him. So then what he did was he got the rights to Fighting American, which was another patriotic character that Kirby and Simon created, and then just said, "Well, no, you can't sue. I didn't rip off Cap. This is Fighting American." And then he just did the same stuff with Fighting American that he was doing with Cap, which was terrible.
And look at him, and
terrible.
The bombers, his forearms are huge.
Look at how long his leg is.
His leg,
his body.
Yeah. Horrible symmetry. His forearms are almost as big as Captain America's breasts.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sense of anatomy. And, when it's comics, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I mean, my God, it's got to be at least somewhat proportionate, unless you're going for something abstract, but this clearly is not that.
Muscular armpits, a 6-pack under his arms, 6 packs everywhere. Just bad. All around bad. And then there was the man who could do your dishes really fast, Dishman. There was the Walrus. There was Sardine and a human flying fish. There was Bubble Boy, not Jake Gyllenhaal or John Travolta. There was this Bubble Boy. Over my dead body, villain. There was
right.
In an uncensored episode, we had Long Dong, who never used his Long Dong in a fight. He had that Candyman, and a Savage Dragon villain, turn people into chocolate. There was Mr. Nebula. There was Mr. Nebula.
Yeah, it's from Justice League International.
I think in some of the top F-listers joined this year, I think some of them were Carface, who I think was the worst characters.
So stupid.
Yeah. And I like when he never won a fight. Like Bane punched him once and he was out, and it was the Huntress who was like, let me guess, you don't like people getting up in your grill? And he's like, yeah. Yeah. So
Looks like he's wearing a bra.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned, now looking at it, I'm always going to think he's wearing a bra.
Looks like he's wearing a bra with some saggy titties.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's got the necklace says dude.
Yeah, dude.
So stupid.
Yeah. So this is Platinum Flats. I ain't impressed. You think all them billionaires could afford to send more to stop me than you two? Yeah, but he wasn't really too tough. The only guys he ever beat up was those two cops. Yeah. See, we had the Kent ripoff. What was it?
Oh, so it looked like it could be a Megaton Man character. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think he could be. And then one of the other
man was drawn with wild proportions on purpose.
Yeah, this one may just be bad. And then one of the other top F-listers we had join this year was Codpiece from the Doom Patrol. That was one of the things he could do with that. I mean, before he had boxing gloves come out of there, rockets, human-sized pair of scissors.
Well, in fairness to that, Doom Patrol, all the characters on the team and all the villains are supposed to be like really whacked out, bizarre characters. So it's not like somebody was trying to create a cool character with them. Like, it's supposed to be bizarre.
Yeah, not supposed to be serious.
The same thing with like the Savage Dragon characters.
Oh yeah, so you can kind of tell that Backfire wasn't supposed to be too serious. But some of the others, Dr. Domino and Throb and Sack. We've had quite a few F-listers join, and of course, nobody could forget the Pouch.
Well, hopefully the Throb and the Sack don't team up with each other.
Oh, no.
Especially not with Butthead there.
Yeah. Nasty team, and they are all F-listers. And we will have more F-listers for everybody in the year of 2026. I've already got certain characters written down, so be prepared. The F-list is not over. The list has many more characters to join.
There's so many lame ones out there.
Yes, we love them. I love to collect them. On to that list. And now, Dan, one more time, topic of the week. And that's only fitting since it's the last one of the year. Highlights of 2025. I'll let you go first, Danny. Highlights just in life, just in comic books, anything you want to focus on. Kodak.
Baltimore Comic Con was really cool. Got to talk to some great creators. Got a ton of autographs. I got it sitting here. Got my second Golden Age book I ever purchased. Is Beat to Hell, but still the Human Torch Golden Age book that also has stories from Golden Age stories of Captain America and from Namor. And one thing I love on here is you see the cover where it says March, but you see the store stamp.
You say January? Yeah.
January 15th. Because remember, they used to put the dates on the covers. They used to put them a couple months in advance so that, this is before comic shops even existed, because they were on newsstands, so that when they're cycling through the stuff on the newsstand, they would be able to stay there longer because whoever's working at the newsstand would see it like, oh, okay, this is supposed to be up here till then. So, I was very happy to get this. And I think I actually got my other Golden Age book earlier in the year, my Captain Marvel. So super excited to add 2 Golden Age books to the collection this year.
What year were those ones?
The Captain Marvel was 1952, so tail end of it. The issue of Young Men, I don't remember. I would have to look it up. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember what year off the top of my head, but I know it was the early 50s.
Yeah. Bruce said, yeah, nice OG Human Torch. Yeah.
Thank you.
I know you've done a lot of artwork. Huh? Any pictures, any drawings you feel were like some of your favorite works, any of your highlights, you'd say?
I actually have a stack of sketch covers here. Yeah, I did.
And the history of the DC universe, that one they get a lot of the characters. That was really nice.
Yeah, that one turned out. Yeah, turned out pretty good. This one, and I got Mark Waid to autograph it, which was cool. Yeah.
There's me big, and then
So, yep, I got Mark Waid to autograph it there, which was cool. And I hope to run into Todd Knock or Jerry Ordway at some point, get them, get them to sign it. I got this Man Thing cover I did for Brandon.
Time, me big, and now we see that. Yeah, oh, that was a recent one too, right?
Yeah, that was a recent one. I'm going to be sending this to CGC for Brandon. I got this Wonder Man one that I did that I gave to Gary, and then he got Liz to color it. So I'll be sending this to CGC too.
Nice, awesome.
And you can't really, there's a, it's not white exactly here. It's kind of yellow shaded too, but the camera doesn't pick it up real great.
For a little bit it was, and then okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I got a few here. This Hush one I think turned out pretty good. I might be sending this away too. But yeah, I did some good art and some good sketch covers. Got some cool books. Talked to some good creators. It's got one step closer to finishing my my own mini comics. So a lot of cool stuff. We got to do a lot of fun shows together. Some good characters of the week. Got to have a lot of great guests on throughout the year. Thank you, Booge. What about you? I know you completed a series about a series. That had to be pretty big.
Well, the first thing I gotta mention is that I did marry the love of my life. Yes, I married my Maria at the beginning of the year, so that was a perfect way to start it. So yes, married my Maria after we've been together over 9 years now. So yes, we're married now. And then, like you did say, a series about a series. After all the years working on it, I first started writing notes in 2019, then wrote the story 2020, and then I started filming at the end of 2020, and September 26th. Released the final episode, so another dream accomplished. Like I said, one dream, to get married, to marry the love of my life, and then another dream to say, before it's like, oh, I made a pilot, then it was okay, the show continues, and then to say I've made a complete show. And another one was that I wrote 2 stories. One is called Aldo's Awkward World, it hasn't come out yet, and then one is called The Everyday Man, and that's one I plan to turn into a comic book. So the story is written. And now next year, I look to adapt it into like a proper comic book script, and look to go forward with that. And then my story, Killing Sent Motion, I did some reading and did editing, and I professionally, I published it on Amazon. So now people can buy my book of Killing Sent Motion. And then I've been reading, editing, and posting on Wattpad. My story Bodies is out. My username on there is Son of the Writer. But I'll announce it now that is the next book I plan to publish, and I'm going to look to do that before 2025 comes to an end. So the book is ready to go. Just have a little bit of formatting to do, and I'll put it online. That I will have my book Bodies will be available to buy. And then there's been a lot of things. Disney World was fun. I went there. I mean, I still did a little editing. I brought my laptop with me because I still wasn't done with the series about a series, but a good time. And then, of course, Codex Station. We've been having a lot of fun, week after week. And then for the first time, I was glad that I finally got to, I have appeared on the awards, but this year was the first year I was on Comics Unleashed. That when we did the KO tournament, that was cool to be on there for the first time. I'm like, all these years, I'm like, how have I not been on there? So cool to be on there. And then, like I said, with the Codex podcast every Wednesday, it's always fun. It's something I know maybe it's not different from my every Wednesday, but I love it to be my every Wednesday. When I don't have a Wednesday that has the Codex podcast, it feels like there's something missing with the week.
We've got to get you on Character of the Week next year.
Yeah, so that's one. Yeah, maybe I'll look at see some characters like that you guys haven't done or want to revisit. I'm like, yeah, that's another thing, another goal. I have big goals, especially for every year, new goals, new things. I have a story called The Viral Killer. I did release that this year. I wrote it the year before. I put it on Wattpad this year and adapted it into screenplay form. And next year, maybe if I get into filming, that's looking like the one that I would film. But I've just got to take certain things. I'll take month by month at a time. So I got a lot of stuff. I'm looking to get back to writing more stories. I'm excited for that. But yeah, 2025. Of course, no year is ever perfect. There's no issues. But overall, I've had an amazing time. I've done, as I was just mentioning, I've had so many highlights that won't just be highlights of 2025, but will be highlights of my whole life. So, I'm glad to do it. I'm glad I'm blessed. I thank God for giving me a life that I love and family and friends that I love and a happy life. So I don't have any complaints. I leave 2025 a happy man, and I will be happy to go into 2026. And what does that comment say? Boo says, "Do Savage Dragon for Comic Character of the Week, and Sunday could be a guest." Well, I think that sounds like a great idea. And everyone, so thank you for joining us. Like I said, certain things for next year. Codex Podcast will hit episode 200. And also, June 9th of 2026, we'll make it 5 years, half a decade, that the Codex station has been around. And we should actually do have a flow for Comic Character Week and have me on it. Me, Uncle Gary's definitely got to be on there. So he can just see pictures of Heavy Flow all the time. We can talk about how great she is and, the little flaws she has.
Oh, if we're, I was just keeping it to comic-related stuff, but if we're doing non-comic-related stuff too, I had a 10th wedding anniversary back in last month in November. My daughter started 2nd grade, and she was unanimously voted by all the kids in her particular homeroom class to be their classroom president, which was pretty cool. So it was it's been a good year. It's been a year. It's had its ups and downs. But a lot of good.
And then we said about back to Heavy Flow. It should be about a 15-minute episode, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a 15-minute episode because 10 minutes of it would be the pre-show.
Yeah. Best writer, worst writer, best cover, the only cover.
She wasn't even on the cover of her first appearance.
No
cover of an issue? I don't think she's even on a cover of anything.
No, actually no covers. No covers for Heavy Flow. Yeah, so 2025 has been an interesting one. It's been, like I said, many highlights. And everybody, well, Dan, I'll see you. I'll see you this Saturday on the Codex Awards. Everybody, I hope to see you all on the Codex Awards as well. But also, I look forward to seeing you all in 2026 for an even bigger, possibly better year. But, either way, I'll try to make it a great one for you all. I'll try to put on great episodes, add some great F-listers, more random panels even. Today, Dan, you were sending me some random panels, so we're ready.
Got a good one for Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Keith says, thanks for keeping Wednesdays wild this year. It has been my pleasure. So with that, everyone, thank you all for joining us. Take care. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy just days in general. I hope the end of 2025 for you all is a 10 out of 10. See you in 2026.